How many times have you shown up to your campsite, then realized you forgot to pack something important, like a pan, fuel, or even a stove? I have many times, and I'm sure you have too. What you need is a chuck box. In this video, I'll show you how to make a custom chuck box for all your cooking needs, from the planning, design, and finally the build. Let's get into it. A chuck box is basically all your camping gear organized in a box. Everything you need from stove, fuel, pots, plates, pans, utensils, oil, spices, or anything else you need to cook a meal while you're camping. Sure, you could just throw everything in a tote, but it's just nice to have everything in order. With a chuck box, you can go from the trunk to cooking in seconds. It's nice to have everything you need to cook right in front of you, so you don't have to go digging around for this stuff. Instead of having the traditional clamshell type lid, this chuck box lid has dual purpose. The lid is in two pieces and it folds out to be a shelf on the side and a sink on one side. By eliminating the metal braces, I had to come up with a way to support the shelf and the sink. I cut notches in the front panels and notched on the top to counterbalance the weight of the shelves. I had to recut these two pieces like 3 times just to get them to work. I ended up with one drawer and a divider and a tray to make use of the depth. I originally designed it with dividers for my coffee maker and grinder, but I ran out of time. We're leaving for a 5-week trip to Asia tomorrow, so I was scrambling towards the end to get this finished. I'm happy with how it turned out. I already have lots of ideas on how to improve it, and I'll reveal the final weight of this chuck box later in the video. Enough about my chuck box. Let's talk about how you can design a chuck box of your own. Step 1. Planning. Gather everything you want in your camp kitchen. Start with the must-haves like a stove, fuel, some kind of pot or pan, utensils, spices, oils, or whatever must-have. Then you add things that are nice to have, like your favorite coffee maker or anything else. To figure out your starting dimensions, measure your stove, and this will give you a rough dimension of your width and your depth. Next, tape out those dimensions on your table. Next, you play Tetris with all your gear and figure out where everything will go. The height of your box will depend on how much gear you want to add into your box. You may have to go with a 2-door system, or another option would be to go with shelves. Just keep in mind with shelves, the things in the back of the shelves will be harder to get. I like drawers for 2 reasons. It makes everything easy to get, and gravity will hold everything in place. With shelves, you have to strap things down so they don't fall all over the place during transport. Once you figure out where everything goes, you should have a rough idea of your dimensions. Now you can start designing. I like to design everything in CAD. Once you factor in the thickness of the wood, it's easy to visualize the design and get exact measurements of your cuts. There are CAD programs online like SketchUp you can use for free. If not using CAD, just draw out your design on paper, paying extra attention to the thickness of the wood and how each panel will go. Another huge plus of using CAD is that you can use the assemble feature and electronically assemble your panels together. It will show you any errors in your design before you start cutting. This next step is tedious but highly recommended. Once you have your design, label each part of your chuck box and draw out the cut lines of your sheet of wood before going to the hardware store. My box needs about a 4x4 foot sheet of wood. Going with 2 2x4 sheets of wood would cost me more than going with a full 4x8. To save weight, I just went with a 1/4 inch thick sheet of wood for the back of the box. Unless you have a car big enough to transport a 4x8 sheet of wood, it's best to have it broken down into more manageable sheets. I had a cut line at 40.5 inches, so I had them cut it at 41 inches. That way it gave me 1/2 inch to account for errors and factor in the thickness of the saw blade, which is about 1/8 of an inch per cut. If you don't know your cut lines and just have them cut the wood in half, you could end up with pieces of wood you can't use. I used the Craig circular saw guide. Once you get it set up and learn how to use it, it makes breaking down large sheets of wood easier and quicker. Going by my cut sheet, I cut all the panels I needed. This is another reason to plan out all the cuts in advance. If you just cut as you go, you'll most likely end up with a bunch of wrong cuts and panels you can't use. Once the sheets were in smaller, more manageable pieces, I moved to the table saw for more precise cuts. Don't worry, I always keep my hands far away from the saw blades. Once I cut all of my pieces, I labeled each one to make assembling easier and cut down on the confusion. I started routing all the slots I needed for my dividers. I made some templates to be used with router bushings. I didn't know the stock base plate for my router doesn't fit the bushings I got. Luckily, Amazon has some super fast shipping. Using bushings, it's important to get the plate dead center. I removed the stock plate and loosely fitted the new plate. Using the 1/4 inch bushing with a 1/4 inch bit, I centered the plate before locking down the screws. Sorry for the background noise. The landscapers knew I was making a video in my garage, so they started mowing next door. Once centered, I replaced the 1/4 inch bushing with a 3/8 bushing and used a 1/4 inch bit. This is my first time using a router, so I'm probably doing something the hard way. Oh well, I'll learn as I use it more. For the sinkhole, I'm using a template I designed and 3D printed, doing 2 passes at a 1/4 inch deep to keep the cut nice and clean. When it came time to assemble the sheets, I noticed there were defects in my plywood with hollow cavities. I was originally going to just pocket hole the panels together, but because of the defects, I figure it's better to glue the panels together with just 2 pocket holes to hold everything in place while the glue dried. Working with 1/2 inch sheets, it's important to get the corners lined up well before screwing in the pocket holes. If not, the screw won't set right and pop out the side. I learned this mistake when I was making version 1 of this box. I used corner clamps to hold the wood in place to prevent the pocket holes from coming out the side. Then clamped the corner to make sure the glue had good pressure to set. For the center shelf, I measured and drew 2 lines on the side pieces of wood, glued, lined up, and clamped it before putting in the screws. With these screws and glue, these panels aren't going anywhere. I'm using 1/4 inch for the back panel, so I can't pocket hole screw. I figured glue and a bunch of nails will hold it in place while the glue dried. Just a good measure, I put a 45-pound plate to hold the wood in place. I made sure to pre-drill the holes for the piano hinges for the top lid. These piano hinges look fragile with these tiny screws, but it's actually really strong. I use these same hinges in my van for a 1.5 inch 25-pound butcher block countertop. For the front sliding panels, I actually cut these panels 3 times before I got it right. I have a tendency to make things more complicated than needed, but I'm happy the way it turned out. I wanted to make use of the depth on the right side of the drawer, so I made a removable tray. I cut some 1/4 inch MDF and glued it together using corner clamps to make sure it gets as square as possible. Then I glued 4 pieces of 1/4 inch wood to act as a stop for the tray. I used a 3D printed guide and put a 1/2 inch round on each corner. Then I used the 1/4 inch round on all the edges of the box to give it a nice finish. Probably not necessary, but I wanted to play with my new router, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite tools. To make the drawer easier to open, I cut a 1 1/4 inch hole in the front, drilling in from both sides to prevent the wood from splintering, then rounded out the sharp edges. For the electric faucet, I designed an adapter in CAD and 3D printed it in a flexible TPU filament. It's attached to the sink panel with 2 screws and a hole for the hose. I love these USB rechargeable electric faucets and use them for various projects. You can get them on Amazon for about 13 bucks. I'll put links in the description below for everything I used in this project. This chuck box is actually version 2. The first one I made was nice with lots of features, with soft closed drawers and metal hardware for the shelves, but it ended up being over 30 pounds without a lid. I jumped back into CAD and I designed a slimmed down version with the goal of making it smaller, lighter, and around 20 pounds. I ran out of time, but my original idea was to mount a towel dispenser on this shelf. Overall, I'm pleased with the design and I already have many ideas on how to improve it. Maybe I'll make a version 3 when I get back from Asia. I had a lot of fun making this chuck box and I have ideas for 3 other designs which I'll be making in the future. The final weight of this chuck box came in at just a bit over 20 pounds at 21.2 pounds. Let me know your thoughts on this chuck box. If you're interested in this design, type yes in the comments below. I wouldn't mind putting together a build guide with dimensions and a cut sheet if enough people are interested. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in Asia.